G'day guys, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3 and welcome back to the Goblin Camp. A lot of things happened in the previous episode. We stumbled into the Goblin Camp, we tried to sneak our way through and that didn't pan out, and we subsequently commanded these goblins to stand down somewhat. So we're moving around in this place pretty freely. I don't know if we should have done that from the very beginning, but yeah, anyway, it is what it is. I'm just sort of thinking about what we want to do next. There's the treasure behind the waterfall back here, and I'm pretty curious to just check it out, so we may as well go for that first. But I will say that I have done a few things between episodes, mostly just tidying up the inventory so that, you know, we don't really have too much of an issue picking up more stuff. But I have also started thinking about, you know, what to do with respecking. So I am going to respec eventually, but it's really just going to be a matter of, you know, like, how we actually do it, and that's the reason why I spent a lot of time sort of looking at how to respec. So we'll do some respecking a little bit later, and we'll likely spend a lot of time hanging around the camp, because I do have a few things that I want to do while we're there. So, I don't know, this could be a very admin-heavy episode, potentially, but I do want to correct... ooh, okay. Let's disengage with everyone, because we definitely want to disarm this trap first. No guidance on us, and it's 15. Oh, actually, we can add guidance. I thought perhaps maybe we can't reach, but anyway. There we go. Oh, that's a bit rough. Oh, we'll use the inspiration. We've got 4. There we go. Yeah, we have to learn the hard way that if we don't use the inspiration, we are essentially going to be taking damage. And let's grab that. Weave moss, and hopefully we can open this chest. And hopefully it's worthwhile. I think that was worthwhile. I mean, look at that. Isn't this the second Great Axe +1 that we've seen? I have a feeling it is. At best, an optimistic letter. Let's take a look at that. A childish doodle of a goblin presenting a fungal bouquet to a drow adorns this crumpled letter. Dearest Your Excellency and most prettiest Minthara. You might not remember me, I ain't nobody important after all. Not yet. I was chasing chickens with the lads when you came to visit Boss Ragslin. You looked right at me when you told him that if we was as good at killing humans as we was at plucking poultry, we might be worth a damn. Made me feel proper special to be recognized like that. Next raid, I'll spill so much blood, the Absolute'll have to notice me. Then, I'll come to Moonrise and you'll notice me too. I'm the one with the stumpy leg and the gammy eye. Clagger. Huh, okay. If we meet this Clagger, maybe we can talk to them about the letter. Just gonna see if we have a few other bits and pieces here to loot, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, this trap is really crude, although if we didn't notice it, obviously we would walk into it, but we could easily just like turn it, like around or walk around it. I'm just trying to see what kind of trap would trigger. I don't really see anything here, but maybe some kind of explosive or something. Anyway, let's climb back down. Now, we won't really be able to, you know, go back up the way we came, so we're going to have to take a different route. And I'd say we might have to just climb up all the way that way. Just making sure everyone's together. Yeah. But before we actually do climb up... Maybe there's something buried here? Or is there a trap?
What to do?
There's no time to waste.
Alright.
This will be done.
Oh, be a big old...
Okay, everyone's failed.
Big old boy.
Let's see, could there be something hidden away somewhere here? Just gonna see if I can grab our... our shovel. I might want to move our shovel, actually. Can I do that? I should be able to shuffle things around. Something like that. So it's easier to find next time. Yeah, let's try there. Nope. It's right behind us. That's okay. We managed to find it anyway. Smoke powder bomb, arrow of darkness, a few more thieves' tools, which will be handy. Okay, good. And before we make our way up this way and have subsequent conversations with all these goblins, I think it's time for us to go back and we might even have a long rest. But firstly, I will just simply go to camp because we do have quite a few things to do here. Now, as I said, I did tidy up the inventory. I do have a few things on me thanks to just the bit of looting that we did before, but I also just, you know, kept a few bits and pieces that were sort of worthy of our attention back with me so that we can sort of organize people's equipment. So, first things first, I think we should, in fact, look at equipment, particularly weapons. And this Sword of Justice caught my eye when I was sort of, you know, sorting out all of the garbage, really. And I'm thinking that this is something that we should give to Lae'zel. So she has a greatsword at the moment, 6 to 16 damage, and this would be an improvement, obviously, 7 to 17 damage. So, I mean, we're guaranteeing one additional point of damage at minimum if it hits. So, yeah, and this is +5 slashing as well, so even better. Yeah, actually, no, I mean, that's the point of difference there, I guess. And I guess we also get a spell as a result of equipping this, Tear's Protection. So she should be able to cast that, although I don't know whether or not she'd be able to cast it effectively. Anyway, let's chuck that in, and so she will use that for a little bit, at the very least. And then we've got a couple of other things here. So the Great Axe +1. I'm sort of thinking about whether or not I want to give this to Shadowheart. I wonder if she'd actually be proficient in it, though. Yeah, okay, so she can't use Great Axes, unfortunately. That's fine. Because we can still give this to Karlach, so let's actually do that. We'll use our own character here, and I'll probably just use the Traveler's Chest, and I think we should be able to equip people from here as well. So, go ahead and do that. So, what does she have at the moment? She just has a normal Great Axe, I think. 4 to 15 damage, as opposed to 3 to 15? I guess the thing is I can't really compare what Karlach has equipped at the moment with what I want to equip. So let me just drop that in. 5 to 16 versus 4 to 15. Yeah, definitely an improvement there. So we'll definitely get her to use the Great Axe. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to deal additional damage as a result. We can probably leave this here. She could probably throw that if we really need to. And additionally, I have this, Braces of Defense. Now, I'm just not entirely sure if this is the best thing to give her, because she's already got Reason's Grasp. So, when the wearer chooses to end their rage, they gain 15 temporary hit points. So, rage. I suppose this might be something different to Fury?
Have a lot on my mind. And,
I might need to check on that actually, and to do that I probably do need to just
What's the story?
get her in the party. So...
You know I'm up for it, but your party's a little full.
Okay, let's just double check.
If you insist.
Frenzy. No, it is Rage. Because she builds Rage Charge. And it says there, Rage ends early if you don't attack an enemy or take damage each turn. Having said that, though, this says something about ending the rage. Like, as in it being a choice, right? So, when the wearer chooses to end their rage, so this is like some kind of a... Yeah, it says that it's a class action. So I guess maybe I haven't really seen this. But we could choose to end rage early. And that'll give us 15 temporary hit points. I don't know how long, though. Because that seems pretty strong. Either that, or we give her Bracers of Defense, which is a rare set of greaves. +2 bonus to armor class. As long as you're not wearing armor. And that's essentially the reason why I thought I could keep this for Karlach. This seems a little bit more consistent, whereas this one is something that you would have to, you know, trigger on your own. So you'd have to be very aware of when to use it. Let's just throw that in. I think it looks nice as well. I mean, there's the aesthetic aspect, which agrees with me quite a bit. She's still wearing spider step boots. I think I'll just leave that with her for the time being. And yeah, she can keep the old greaves with her as well. Who knows? We might be able to switch to it at some point. Right. So that I think concludes our need to equip stuff. Well, I'm just looking here as well, but Astarion doesn't really have any gloves or greaves or anything, so maybe we can just give him this pair here. This gives strength saving throws. Not that he has very good stats for strength. Yeah, in fact, that's his lowest. So I could perhaps give it to someone else down the line, but let's not really fuss over it too much right now. What's most important, and the reason why I wanted to come back to the camp primarily, is to do all of this respecking. So let's get
Moving in.
our good friend Gale into the party, and yeah,
Always
we're going to
have to
start
try.
with respecking him.
What's on
So
your
yeah, I'll
mind?
do all of the respecking on camera, and I'll sort of talk through my my thought process,
Oh,
and you
nothing
guys
would
can
give
crash
me
all of my
greater
decisions
pleasure.
in the comment section
Which of our
down
esteemed
below.
company am I stepping in for?
Let's get you taking Astarion's
Magical.
place, and we'll also I think we'll also restat or respec Shadowheart, and we'll respec ourselves as well. So that's the plan. A bit expensive here,
Direct me.
but someone did
Adventure
mention in the
awaits.
comments that if we're really running low on cash, we could essentially just pickpocket Withers, and it's very easy to get your money back that way. Though I might avoid trying to do that as much as possible. We'll see how much cash we end up with, you know, later on down the road.
Mother,
And
thy name
if it is
has
a
been
struggle,
recorded.
then, you know, we can do that. But
I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my service. As thou desire.
okay, here we go. Respecking. So, obviously Gale is not set up correctly, it turns out, because a lot of people were pointing out that my feat selection didn't really suit his, I guess his stats. So we're going to try and be a little bit careful with what we do on that front. He's definitely going to be a wizard, obviously, and his starting cantrips, I think I'm pretty happy with what we have here. Questionable as to whether or not Mage Hand is that useful. I could potentially swap that out, but I think maybe it might be a good idea to still keep that just in case. And then spells. Well, looking at the starting spells, I feel like the Fog Cloud is probably something that we don't really use very much. So I can maybe swap that out with the Magic Missile. And in terms of ability points, this is where I'm starting to hopefully get a little bit more careful. But at least with some of the other characters, I'm pretty happy with the base or the recommended stats for Gale. Now, as far as I understand, proficiency bonuses are only given to you for every 2 points you invest in a specific stat. So, or a specific ability. So, for example, something like intelligence here, we've got 17. We don't really get the benefit from the additional point there. But, because there are feats that allow you to straight up get, you know, additional points, you could actually bump that up possibly to 18, or I don't know if you can get up to, I think 20 might be the max, so we could think about sort of bumping things up that way. The only thing that I might change is his constitution. Maybe I might bring that down a little bit more. So he'll have less HP, so he'll be very squishy, but then we'll be able to sort of give him a little bit more charisma. And that way, if we do end up getting spells that use charisma, or charisma checks, then, you know, we'll be able to more consistently hit, and hopefully also do a little bit more damage. So we still have one more skill point here that we can invest in. Let me decide where to put this in. I can't really put it in intelligence. That would be nice if we could, but I think I could switch where my bonus goes. Could I put my bonus there into charisma? So yeah, the additional point there is going to be kind of useless. If I really wanted to get a benefit out of it, we also don't really have a benefit out of the additional point in dexterity here, so what I could do is just take out one from dexterity. We're really unlikely to use too much of our dexterity, except for maybe our armor class, and using that for initiative. So I'm just wondering why I can't invest this into charisma at this point. What's the deal there? Yeah, I suppose I'm forced to choose between one of these ones where we're not really going to get too much benefit. I'll put it in Constitution. Perhaps maybe if we do end up getting additional points, we can sort of add to Constitution at some point and make him a little less squishy, you know? But I think this way, we're sort of set up for additional spells for, you know, being a wizard, obviously, but also other types of spells that are not, you know, wizard spells, so to speak. So that's the plan. Let's confirm and lock that in. And I am going to have to now go through the level up process once more. We are up to level 4 at the moment, so it shouldn't really take us too long. But yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to sort of look at all of this stuff, even the subclasses. And yeah, it is all really quite confusing. Sorry guys, I keep pressing escape when I want to go back, which I shouldn't really do. But yeah, let's see, do we want evocation? There are other sort of benefits here as well, which someone did point out that there's the ability for wizards to consume scrolls using gold and to consume those spells, and I guess that's one way to have like almost a complete spell book, and you can really change into any spell that you would want, that you would ever want. But yeah, obviously we have different types of spells available depending on your subclass, but also these other benefits here. So learning evocation spells from scrolls only cost you 25 gold, not 50. Something similar here for conjuration spells. Summoning creatures and objects, displacing them in space. Yeah, I'm thinking that we probably want to stick with evocation. Twist and harden the weave into arcane wards to protect yourselves and others, so if you're playing a little bit more defensively. But yeah, I think we'll stick with evocation though. And now it's time for us to sort of decide on a couple of spells here that we can get. So I'm thinking Disguise Self is going to be important, so we'll start with that. And let's see. Featherfall might not be a bad one to have as well. Charm Person could be good. Let's go in with... Ooh, it's a tough choice here. I think maybe we should go down the path of, you know, choosing one utility and one offensive spell when we're presented with these options. We can prepare spells during the level up process. We probably don't really need to do that. I'm going to just prepare Magic Missile in there because I love Magic Missile. But yeah, let's keep going. The level 3, we now get a level 2 spell slot as well. With the level 2 spell slot, I do want Cloud of Daggers. I do quite like that. And I don't think we get Detect Thoughts here, do we? We can take one more level 1 spell slot. Or, sorry, another level 1 spell. I guess we can go for our level 2 spell as well, but... I'm thinking... yeah, maybe Detect Thoughts would be good. We also need Knock. I don't know what's going to be more useful for us, but let's get Detect Thoughts first. We don't need to prepare our spells because we can do that with the spellbook. So we'll come to all of that later. And this is really going to be the critical decision here. So I might actually get our feet in first. And after looking through everything, I sort of thought, well, you know, we've increased our charisma, so we could go in with, like, warlock spells that use, you know, charisma as the main stat. But I'm thinking of just going with wizard. We can go with warlock a little bit later if we get another feat. And this should give us a few additional spells and also a... well, sorry, a couple of cantrips, rather, and we get one additional spell. So I'm thinking Ice Knife might be a good one to use. Because we have Firebolt as a cantrip. And Ice Knife you would be able to cast at least once. And I think this is not going to consume a spell slot, if I'm not mistaken. You can cast the level 1 spell once per long rest. Yeah. I think it doesn't consume the spell slot, but I could be mistaken there. Anyway, let's choose some cantrips here. And I'm thinking of doing Poison Spray and Blade Ward maybe might be a decent one to use as well. Just to offer up a little bit of defensive capabilities. Yeah. And then we do get another 2 more spells to choose from. So this is probably where we want Knock. And we also want... oh, it's a tough choice here. Do we want to go with another level 2 spell? We could. Scorching Ray. I'm thinking of Melf's Acid Arrow. Seems like an interesting spell to have. And we do also have one more cantrip to choose from. I don't know if we will find a lot of enemies moving forward that will heal themselves. Haven't seen any enemies heal themselves just yet, but I assume this would be pretty good for preventing enemies from healing themselves whilst also dealing damage ourselves. Shocking Grasp. Yeah, I'm thinking Bone Chill might not be a bad idea. Alright, and there we have it. So Gale is quote-unquote fixed up. Hopefully that all sort of makes sense, but again, you can still trash me down in the comments down below if you want. You can let me know where I've gone astray. But what I might do at this point is just have a look at our spell book and just make sure that we've got the right spells in place. It's kind of tricky here with Detect Thoughts and Knock, because I feel like I could use Knock, you know, any time really. I could potentially have a need to use Knock. So, maybe I should get Sleep out of there and get Knock in. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could increase the number of spells that we can prepare. I suppose maybe that could happen at some point. Instead of Witch Bolt, I'm going to have Cloud of Daggers. And instead of Grease, I mean, Grease could be very, very useful. So Detect Thoughts, that's a concentration spell. As long as I don't need to maintain concentration on any other types of spells. Okay, if I want to use Cloud of Daggers, I'm not going to be able to use Detect Thoughts. So maybe we'll get that out of there. We'll have to be very strategic on Detect Thoughts in that case. And, you know, we need to basically prepare the spell when we need it, essentially. So in that case, we should be able to get a few other things in then. So let's do Ray of Sickness and Witch Bolt. Yeah, plenty of level 1 spells to try and use. Obviously, our level 1 spell slots do need to recharge after a long rest. Let me just have a look at this here. The number of level... the number and level of spell slots the Arcane Recovery action can restore 2. Yeah, so I could recast some of these even if we have level 1 spell slots depleted, provided that we use Arcane Recovery. Again, haven't really used that very well recently, so I'm hoping to be able to get good at using that. But I'm pretty happy with what we've done here with Gale. Hopefully you guys are too. Which means now it's time to move on to Shadowheart. So let's see what we can do with her. And with Shadowheart, my idea is getting her to hopefully be a little bit more healing heavy.
Recorded. I shall be here in thy camp, as thou desire.
Alright, so she's definitely going to remain a cleric, so that's fine. We get to choose 3 cantrips, and I think I'm okay with all of the cantrips except for maybe resistance. I haven't really used that very often, so I'm thinking of replacing that with Blade Ward. And the plan is she'll be a bit of a healer, but also she'll still be trying to, you know, attack enemies up close as well, using melee attacks. She does have a firebolt cantrip, which does require a bit of intelligence there, and it is a little bit unfortunate because she doesn't really have very good intelligence, and therefore she misses quite often with the firebolt. And that is essentially the thing that I didn't realize was going on, and that was the reason why we're having difficulty trying to hit a lot of those spells. Now, subclass, we've got Trickery Domain. I can't say that we have used a lot of our spells very often in Trickery Domain. I sort of skipped all of this the last time we looked at it, and I'm thinking of actually switching to War Domain, and this is going to give us a couple of sort of interesting spells, concentration spells, but I think this will be good, especially if we're trying to sort of attack things up close. And yeah, we've got this. When you make an unarmed weapon attack, unarmed or weapon attack, you can spend a War Priest charge to make an additional attack as a bonus action. So I assume this is going to be some kind of other resource that we haven't seen before, but this sounds quite good because if we're up close and personal, and we can use this charge to do a couple of attacks and kill enemies that way, I think that'd be pretty powerful. So let's have a look at our abilities, and we sort of play around a little bit here with what we've got. So I am hoping that we will get most of our damage in through dexterity. So I'm hoping to maybe reduce strength a little bit and adding a little bit more to dexterity. If we wanted her to be more of a spellcaster, then we could have pumped up intelligence here, but I don't think we're really going to do that. Constitution is pretty good, though I think really what we want is to be dex heavy and wisdom heavy, and the reason why I'm not going to pull any of the wisdom back is because when we get to our feats, we're going to, choose feats that'll complement this particular ability to be able to, heal people a little bit more. I know that there's probably, I'm just looking here, I think there might be like a good selection here for healing if you really wanted to go heavy on healing. The life domain gives you additional bonuses when healing yourself or allies, but I think we want a bit of a balance, so we don't want to just do healing, we also want to still be able to deal damage as well. So that's why I think War Domain is a decent selection there. Are we happy with what we have here? I could bring strength down. Yeah, I'm a little reluctant because we are still using melee weapons, but I am sort of hoping to find melee weapons that will, I guess, play well with our dexterity ability. So I think this is a decent balance. But again, if we really need to, we can respec again, right? So 17 on wisdom is all right. I think we could hopefully add to that. If anything, I feel like maybe charisma is not really needed. And maybe we can add bit more constitution instead of charisma, and that should give us a decent benefit there with additional HP. Yeah, I think that looks good. Alright, time to go through our leveling up process. Yeah, I told you guys, this is going to be a very admin-heavy episode here. Me correcting all of my previous mistakes. Channel divinity charges. Yeah, so we have seen that before. Turn undead and an effect determined by your domain, replenished by short or long rest. So I haven't exactly used turn undead before. Pray to turn all undead that can see you. So does this mean it would affect allies as well? Like, why would I want to turn everything into undead? It lasts for 3 turns. I guess I can play around with it at some point. Guided strike. I do quite like that, actually. Maybe I should be using guided strike a little bit more often. We do need to prepare our spells here, so let's get rid of that. I don't really think I will be using inflict wounds. Necromancy, I believe that's going to require... It doesn't exactly tell you here what ability is required for necromancy. It might either be intelligence or charisma, but, you know, we don't really have very high intelligence or charisma anyway. So, we want to keep Guiding Bolt, Healing Word. We do want Cure Wounds, Create or Destroy Water. Probably not something that we need. I think what we want to have is Bless, and we also want this, Sanctuary. And if we have a read of this, you or an ally cannot be targeted until you attack or harm a creature. You can still take damage from area spells. Until the affected entity attacks or harms another creature, it cannot be targeted by enemy attacks. However, it can still take damage from spells that influence a larger area. So the way I see this is you could potentially cast this on an ally before you go into battle. Like, let's say if you know that we're in stealth to begin with, it'll last for 10 turns, which means that, you know, the characters that are most likely going to be attacked first cannot be attacked, I guess, until they, you know, they throw in an attack of their own. I mean, we could either do that, or, I mean, there's other stuff here, like Bane, for instance, which might be decent. But I like the idea of Sanctuary, so we'll use that. And obviously, it's something that we just need to prepare, or unprepare, if we don't want to use it anymore. Okay, so, next level. It looks like we just have the ability to prepare spells here, and we get a whole bunch of level 2 spells, which do sound quite interesting. So this is Lesser Restoration, cure a creature from disease, poison, paralysis, or blindness. I'm not really that interested in this one, because I'm mostly interested in actual, you know, hit point healing. So for that, we either have Aid or Prayer of Healing. Now, Prayer of Healing looks really good, but there's a caveat here. It has to be used outside of combat. So we might not want to use this one, and perhaps maybe we could use Aid instead. It does say heal your allies and increase their hit points by a maximum of 5, I think. So I think it doesn't really say anything about it not being able to be used during combat, so that's the reason why I think I would take that one. Some of these other ones do look interesting as well. So this one, Warding Bond, ward an ally, they gain resistance to all damage, +1 bonus to their armor class and saving throws. And yeah, so each time the ally takes damage, you take the same amount of damage, which means that if you were, you know, I guess building yourself up to be a bit more of a tank character, this would be really good to tank damage for other companions, but I don't think that's what we want. So pretty happy with this. We're definitely very healing and protective heavy, and I think I like that. So let's continue. And this is the real crux here, where we do get a feat, and I'm going to start with the feat. And I did contemplate whether or not I wanted to just go into Cleric and, you know, get a whole bunch of... Whoops. I keep doing that, guys, sorry. Whether or not I wanted to go into more Cleric spells. But I think this is where I might mix things up a little bit. So let's just have a look here. So none of this really excites me. And then all of this, I mean, we've already got these spells. These are just better versions of the spells. And I'm thinking maybe it might be cooler if we go into Druid. And the reason for that is because, well, the Druid spells also require Wisdom, and that is essentially our main ability for Shadowheart. So let's go into the Druid spells, and we've got some options here for offense, and they're cantrips as well, which is good, which means we should be able to cast them over and over. And I'm thinking we could do something like Poison Spray and Produce Flame. And I'm sort of thinking with Produce Flame, we'll sort of use that as a way to cast fire. I know we do have Firebolt, but Firebolt needs intelligence, and I think we'll have a better time trying to attack things with Produce Flame. It only does 1 to 8 fire damage, but if we're in a situation where we need to light an area on fire, for instance, then this would be very, very useful indeed. And also it provides illumination as well, so you know, it is a semi-utility spell, so to speak. And then for our actual level 1 spell, that's Always Prepared, I was thinking, you know, if we're definitely a healer, then I think this is what we want to go with. The Good Berry. We'll conjure 4 magical berries into your companion's inventory. Creatures who eat the berries regain 1 to 4 hit points. It's not really a lot, but I think it could be decent. And, you know, I'm thinking this could be something that we do outside of combat most of the time, and it could be useful to sort of heal like smaller wounds, so to speak. Other than that though, I am quite interested in Ice Knife. Ice Knife seems like a decent spell to have as well, to try and deal quite a bit of damage. But yeah, anyway, that's the plan, I think. And we do have additional spells here, obviously, so cantrips. So I mean, I can't say any of this really excites me that much, but if I had to choose between all 3, I'd go with Resistance. And I think that's going to be us fully set up there. Cool. Once again, hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you guys agree with it. If not, you can let me know what you would have done differently. And yeah, going in with blue as well, and going to see if we can maybe fix a few things up with blue so that he's going to be a bit more effective as a ranger. So again, let's spend another 100 gold,
as thou desire.
and let's see what we can do. So yes, we are going to stay with ranger. In terms of favored enemy, let's see here. I was sort of thinking about whether or not I wanted to change stuff. Oh yeah, there we go. That was a bit buggy there. For some reason it didn't let me change stuff. But yeah, I guess with favored enemy, is there a reason why we would want to go with bounty hunter when you only get one additional skill? Gain proficiency in investigation. Okay, right. That's the reason there. And I do like investigation quite a bit, so let me just double check here. Wisdom checks. If investigation only improves intelligence checks, then maybe it might not be so worthwhile, but I might stick with bounty hunter. I do like being able to reveal things. Yeah, I think we'll stick with bounty hunter, to be honest, and yeah, really weird, guys, but I'm not getting the ability to change stuff here. Urban Tracker, Beast Tamer. You can cast Find Familiar without expending a spell slot. Yeah, I see. So the Beast Tamer selection is definitely something that we want. Bounty Hunter for proficiency in investigation, I think we'll keep that. But yeah, what's most important, I feel like we just need to be able to summon familiars. But I think maybe this is the real crux here, just reallocating some of our ability points. So Dex is going to be our primary ability, and since we're really trying to do most of our attacks at long range using the bow, dexterity is probably going to be the main ability for that, right? So it is maxed out, so that's good. Let's take a look at what else we can sort of play around with here. I'm thinking... I don't mind making ourselves a little squishier if we can get a little bit more charisma in there. So we should be able to, you know, persuade people a little bit more. Spellcasting for bards, paladins, sorcerers, warlocks. Wisdom, we do have quite a lot of points for that as well. I'm thinking maybe we could bring that up to 16. I could take a hit on charisma. And if I really wanted to, I could bring my strength down a little bit more. I think that doesn't seem like a bad idea. Yeah. Alright. Let's confirm this. And let's go in with our level ups. Alright, so with our spells, the first thing I want is to be able to speak with animals. So that's our utility right there. And next we definitely want Hunter's Mark. I mean, I'll be able to get Hail of Thorns in the next level up anyway, I think. So we're definitely going into archery. So +2 on ranged weapon attacks. That's good. Alright, and we do get an action here, Ranger's Companion. So we should be able to obviously cast Lupus out. But in terms of our spells, yeah, we definitely want Hail of Thorns. Haven't used it very often, but I do want to try and use it a bit more often. And I don't know why we have replace spells here. Like, I don't know what it's replacing. It doesn't say that it's replacing anything. Oh, right. Okay, so you can choose one of these to replace. Oh, God. Again, sorry, guys. Keep pressing escape. Alright, let's just get that in there. I guess I have to put something in here for it to make a difference, but I can simply change that in the spellbook, right? So I don't think I need to worry too much about the replace spell section, because it's already ticked off as well. But for the feat, so yeah, this is something that I think I'm still quite comfortable in using alert. I do want Lou to be able to, you know, be pretty quick on his feet, so to speak, and I want him to be able to move pretty quickly in the order of things. Just so that we can get some of those, you know, long-range attacks in as quick as possible. So I think I'm still going to go with alert, and that's going to give us quite a bit more initiative. The alternative to that is I could have perhaps maybe given him like a magic initiate druid, or perhaps maybe warlock, because we have decent charisma. Probably no wizard spells for us. Or we could even go into Cleric. But yeah, I'm thinking if we do get another feat down the line, we might actually go into the Druid spells. And with that, we should be able to get some healing and get some more sort of interesting spells. Bard spells, yeah. I don't know how I feel about Bard spells, to be honest. Heroism. Gain 5 temporary hit points. That is pretty interesting. But it could be something that we reserve for either Astarion or Will, for instance. Speaking of, I'm probably not going to go through any of the other characters. I think 3 is probably enough for one episode. But yeah, let's again go back to alert. I do quite like that. So that's it for blue. So reallocating a lot of those ability points to wisdom and charisma is just really a preemptive measure for the way I'm thinking about building out Blue's character. Right, so anything else we want to do while we're still in camp? Yes, I would say that we do have one other thing that I want to maybe play around with. So someone made a comment about there being some items that we could potentially use to give to Scratch. And I'm not entirely sure if it could either be like some bones or this thing here, the ball. I knew there was something about this ball that we might be able to you know, interact with, and it turns out I might be right, but again, maybe jumping to conclusions here. Pet him, of course we'll have to pet him. I didn't see an option to play with the ball with him. Wait a sec. We do have all of this, right? Dialogue history. No. Okay. I don't have the ability to open my inventory. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. He actually fetched. And do we get, like, do we get it back? I assume we do. Let me, yeah, that's 3 bones right there. Let's try throwing the ball. That's so cool. I can't believe the devs actually thought to actually, you know, implement something like that. That is amazing. They really thought about everything, didn't they? Alright. I thought that there would be a bit more of an interaction, or perhaps maybe you have to repeat it a few times before he'll actually do anything. He does sort of chase it from wherever he's gone to, though. So that's cool. What happens if we do it, like, outside of his sight lines? Like, does he come all the way? Yeah, I mean, he's bolting. Running all the way. Maybe. Yeah, there he comes. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Oh, he's such a good boy. Alright, cool. Yeah, I don't know if we would need to do it, like, a lot of times for there to be any additional interactions with him. And I don't know if he will be significant moving forward. Perhaps. Perhaps he would be. But so far we don't really have any quests or anything like that to do with him. So, we've got a few bits and pieces here, which I think I can just simply store. The ball, do I just keep the ball? I mean, maybe. Maybe we have to keep that handy for every time we come back to camp. Let's throw all of these there. I wonder if there are other toys that he would like to play around with, aside from bones and balls. Maybe. Karlak. Oh, we have Karlak in the party, actually. And I do want to switch her out, so let's quickly do that. Gonna take Lae'zel.
What can I do you for?
Or Lae'zel. We could probably have additional conversations here. I feel like we've seen all of these options before. You and Mizora seem to know each other. How?
We were both part of Zariel's inner circle. Her by choice, me by force. In the grand scheme of things, I'm inconsequential to Zariel. Sure, I've got the engine, but I wasn't even her strongest fighter. But she favored me like a child favors a captive pet. Mizora envied the attention, I suppose. I'm sure when Zariel gave her the order to hunt me down, Mizora was delighted.
Do you think she'll keep coming after you?
I don't know. You'd think she'd have more important things to do. Devils and their pride.
I can see why you were so keen to escape.
No kidding. The fighting, the chaos, the betrayal. It had the makings of a good stage show, but I did not want to be one of the players.
Alright. Oh yes, that's right. I do want
What's the
to
story?
switch her out though. Oh, sorry. I need to speak to Lae'zel about it, not
I
Karlak.
have something to ask.
Speak. Make space, and my might is your good.
Okay, and I think we're ready to go back. I was sort of thinking about whether or not I wanted to go back to the druid camp or the druid settlement and sell a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't really think that I can do that because I don't actually have a spawn point or a portal in the goblin camp itself, which will make things a lot harder for us to sort of try and get back. So all of the selling of all of our items is probably going to have to wait until another time. At least until we find another portal. But I think this is where we're going to call it an episode, guys. So I did sort of pre-warn you guys that it wasn't really going to be too eventful in this episode, but we were going to spend quite a bit of time just planning and fixing up all of our characters. Let me know how badly I went in the comments down below. Stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.